you mentioned in your book, now this book, I Want to Be Healed.
Yes.
You mentioned in that about homeopathy and
Yes.
spiritual healing. When they're combined, they increase the power of healing by 80%.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
All right. Homeopathy is a miraculous modality. Like kinesiology works with spiritual healing as well. These two work brilliantly together. So any energy healing you're doing with homeopathy takes the energy of a herb, and the energy is trapped within the homeopathy. Then spiritual healing, hands-on healing, Reiki healing, they work through the energy. So these two energies come together working in harmony. So a lot of my clients, say for instance, someone had, I'm just trying to think, what were they had? Oh, endometriosis, right? I would refer them to my sister-in-law, Lorraine, who's one of the top homeopaths in the country. And she would be treating them for one thing and I'd be treating them for another thing. And so we were working in harmony with each other. My sister-in-law trained to be a doctor. She does everything by the book, right? And she tells me what to do. So I'm doing the healing and she tells me what's left over that I can actually do. But if you work with, I have watched so many of my clients who the healing has helped to a certain point and they just needed a different type of energy to take it to the next stage. And homeopathy did it, yes.
And how do you use them together?
Well, homeopaths can treat just about anything. Say, for instance, I'm a premature baby. I was born with one bung lung. I've had pneumonia 6 times in my life. I was only ever hospitalized for it once in my life because my sister-in-law took over and she analyzed me and analyzed the potions. When a homeopath makes a potion for you, they make up they record down about 4 different potions and they say, try this one for 3 days. That should work. If it doesn't work, well, then we'll move to the next one. And then they work out who you are and your makeup. So therefore they've got the formula. No matter what you get wrong with you, they've got the base formula to make you better. So here I'm in Queensland. I'm working with the doctors up there and I'm in a Queensland hospital, right? And I start coughing and I'm losing my air. And then I realize that my lungs not working well. So my husband tells one of the doctors that I've got compacted pneumonia, right, which is a killer. And so he goes, gets the doctor comes back and the doctor says, my God, Jude, gets out the stethoscope, does all that. And he says, oh, Judith, he said, now we've either got 2 choices. I can ring a homeopath or I can put you in a hospital for 3 weeks. He said, well, I ring the homeopath. And I said, yes. So he rang the homeopath. Paul spoke to the homeopath. The homeopath made up things and Paul drove out to the homeopath's house. Meanwhile, before we did any of that, Paul rang New South Wales to my sister-in-law and said, listen to her. And so over the phone, Lorraine said, oh, you've got compacted pneumonia. Anyway, she diagnosed this over the phone and the doctor said, yep, that's right, you've got compacted pneumonia. And so Lorraine made up a base. Paul wrote the base down, sent it out to, they texted it over to the homeopath. She made up the substance and then I took it. Yes. I took it
and saved your life.
Well. They were going to put me in hospital for 3 weeks.
Yes.
And homeopathy had me standing up and walking around within 3 days.
Oh, goodness.
That's because they tune in on who you are, your makeup.
I never knew that.
Oh,
that is really special.
You've got to get to a homeopath who does homeopathy and doesn't mix all the modalities. Somebody who understands homeopathy. Yes.
Okay. And that brings another question to mind. What do you think about now you can either say it batch or bark flower essences?
Homeopathy.
Is homeopathy.
Yes. I mean, if you look at Australian bush flower essences.
Yes,
right?
because I know you love the Australian bush flowers. Yes.
Yes, well, I mean, Ian White, the founder of that, has been a close friend of mine for 40 years. I remember when he was a young boy getting all excited because he discovered all these things. And I was checking them orally. He was bringing them down to my healing practice saying, have a look at this. What do you think of it? What's its aura like?
And that brings us to another question that I did want to ask, and it is about the Australian bush essences, the flowers, and how you discovered your relationship with, did you say Ian White?
Ian White, yeah.
And how that all happened, that then you brought that in. So yeah, could you go into a bit of that?
Yes, Ian White was a very young man, very tall, skinny, slim young man, brightly coloured clothes. I was working at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival, and he came up to me and he said to me, can you see the auras of everything? And I went, yes. And we started to talk and he was telling me what he was doing. I understood homeopathy because my sister-in-law was a homeopath. And so he started to talk and started to explain. And he said, I've got a sample of things. He said, could you look at them for me and tell me? He said, I won't tell you what they're for. If you could look at their aura and tell me what you think they're for. And it all matched. It all matched.
Oh, incredible.
Yes. So what do I think of Australian bush flower essences? I would recommend them 150%. Yes.
All right. And is there a favourite that you like to work with? Is
Favourite?
there a bush flower essence?
No, because they're all
personal,
designed particular to people's needs.
Yeah, I understand that.
There are some general ones, like in homeopathy. Paul and I, as you know, I've travelled around the world, and I've never ever had jet lag. Never. I've done a 16-hour trip around Europe, right? And I've never had jet lag because my sister-in-law has got my makeup, and then she just adds to it. Gave us drops. We had to take them 3 days before we flew. We had to take them on the last day of the last 3 hours of the flight, and then we had to take them for a day after that. Paul and I have never ever had jet lag.
I'm just learning so much today and I'm getting super excited. So I just never knew that about homeopathy, how amazing. I knew it was amazing, but you think, why isn't mainstream using this? That's another topic for another day, perhaps. But what does a healer's aura look like? And what does the aura look like of a person having a healing?
The healer's aura, and that depends on how well attuned they are, will have emerald green colours in it. Will have a little flash of yellows. Might have some lavender blue in it. Depends on whether the healer has an emotional streak within them. Can have some burgundy in it. Maybe a little touch of purple, but mainly the different types of greens coming in. Sometimes if the person is channeling a spirit guide that's working with the person, then you'll have pale blue in there as well. Yeah. As far as the person being healed, if the person being healed of pain, they will have reds, dark reds, greys, browns, all basic things to do the physical healing.
And the physical healing. So the reds relate to a physical pain, not a mental or emotional pain.
No, it's all the physical body. Physical body can be a kidney. The physical body can be your bloodstream. The physical body can be a broken toe. It's all the physical.
For clients out there, actually, before we go ahead, I want to show you something. Something just popped into my mind. Give me 2 seconds.
Yes.
Only because it's behind me. I had my Kirillin photography done of my aura just a few months back. That was mine on the day, but I know it can change. But when you said green, I thought, oh, there's lots of blue and green. And I wanted to show that.
Yes.
Not asking for you to comment on it, but...
No, because the blue that's on your chest there, you don't worry about the colours around the head because they change all the time.
Yeah,
but the colours from your shoulders down don't. And the fact that the fact that you would have had to put your hand on something, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's right. It means that some of the colours are coming out of there. Well, the darker blue that you've got there just shows that you're an ethical person.
Oh, I like that. That's a good quality. Thank you. I am ethical. Thank you. All right. So now, for clients out there that are looking for an energy healer,
Yep.
how do they choose the right healer for them? Is there any advice there?
The best way to find an energy healer is to look at all the different advertisements, or if you go to a healing fair, you look at the photographs and what naturally takes you, whatever you're attracted to. And if you don't feel as though you can find one, then you walk away, go and get yourself a drink, give yourself 20-minute break, and then go back. And then you'll feel one. Yeah. Feel your way to a healer. Don't seek your way to a healer. Feel your way to a healer.
Great advice. Love that. This is a question for clients on their own healing paths. So let's talk about the colours that we don't prefer, that we don't like, that we don't gravitate to. Because I'm wondering, if you don't like a colour, does that mean that that is a reflection of your aura, or the colours that you do like? Like, I'll give you an example, maybe to make it easier. I love the colour dark egg blue, kingfisher blue. You know, I've got my colours that I like. And so, you know, when I had that photograph, I thought, well, there's the blues and the greens, like the dark egg blue. And I thought maybe the colours I like, even though I can't see my aura like you can, maybe it is that is my aura because I like it. And the color that I really did not like in the past, orange, and I did not like brown. And
Funny. That is so funny.
yeah, and I thought, I wonder if that's present in my aura.
Your aura is not the colours that you like, and it's not the colours that you don't like. Your aura reflects your day-to-day experience in relationships and living in this world, and also to how you respond or react to your emotions. That's how you get colour in your aura.
How you respond or react to your emotions, that's how you get the color.
Yep.
All right, I'm chunking it down in my mind. So I just thought it might be a little bit of a, you know, oh, wouldn't that be good if the colors we liked were in our aura and that was the dominant color, but it doesn't work like that.
I find that most people who love a particular colour, it's usually in their aura, but not because they love that colour. It's because the colour has significance to who they are.
That's what I meant. That's what I'm on. That's the thought process I was on. There must be something about it. If you love a colour and you've long time liked that colour, I thought there must be some link to your personality or something like that. Yeah, okay. So
it's not always large in size. It'll be very small because it's part of your evolvement, part of your journey.
Yes, okay. So not such a crazy question from me.
Not a crazy question. Just
but
fun.
Again, you did tell me last time I think a lot, and so that probably validates that. All right. Good. We'll tick that one off the list. Now, I would like to talk about Technicolour Dreams.
Yes.
And we don't have to talk about my dream, but just to give an example. Last night I had a dream where I saw a silver thing, like a circle horseshoe shape around me, and it had a funny pattern that wasn't flowers or anything, almost a swirl. It looked like almost, I don't know, like it had been embossed. And then I don't know the significance of it, but I do know it was a symbol for me that was important. And then after that, I saw something silver in front of me. And that's when I knew in the dream, that's important for me. And whenever I remember this tomorrow, I need to look up what that means. So that aside, when people have dreams like this, what does it mean for them when they see a color and they remember it, that it was important to, you know, look into that?
The color is important. The color is important.
Mm-hmm.
If it was silver grey, if it was silver with a little bit of zinc or something color in it, then that silver reflects feminism. So it's making you look at the feminine side of yourself. And the feminine side of yourself can be psychic development, spirituality, it can be healing. Yes, but it can also be more of a female as well. If it's silver, just pure silver, that's interesting, because silver often appears in dreams on a woman because it's ovulation. If it appears, again, it's linked to evolution. That means changes in your life. Evolution doesn't mean to say you're going to be born again, but it's the next step up. You're taking the next step. So it's evolution. But if it's a or say a greeny silver color, right? Well, that means that your mind is focused on negative thinking and negative emotions there.
All right. Yeah, so the blend of colors gives you another interpretation. I would love to ask you about healing circles. How, because that is another way you've explained in your book of enhancing the energy, the healing energy, and you talk about how to do it. Would you like to share a bit of that?
Yeah, I did a big healing circle of 120 people in Adelaide. Now, healing circles. First of all, the first thing I do with the healing circle, I hire a big hall, and I usually have 100 people in it. I've never had to organize a circle myself. Local newspapers have done it. Radio shows that I've been interviewed on, the newspapers get hold of it. They want a story where they can write an article about it, then interview the people after the healing circle, and then interview them 2 weeks later to see if they've been healed. They want a story.
Yes.
So I've gone along with that because I know the power of healing circles. So I've been part of those stories in most states of Australia. Anyway, especially Western Australia. Western Australia was very greedy for healing circles. Anyway, so first of all, I get a big hall, very large hall. And then I get a Bose, B-O-S-E, the sound music system, right? I get a Bose system. My husband goes somewhere and hires it. And then I get dramatic music that can harness the mind and stop it from thinking. And so I look at Kitaro, I look at Vangelis, I look at all these very dramatic marching type of beating types of things. No soft little fairies dancing on the line or twinkly lines or stars or anything like that. We've got to harness that mind so that it takes the mind into opening it up into a creative thinking. The mind is now trying to interpret the music. What does the music mean? And so it's no longer focused on whether I've got a pain in my foot or whether or not I'm going to get any healing or how's this going to work or anything. Then I get people to sit in a circle with one hand up, one hand down, and they all on each other's hands. They're all connected. Then the music starts up. We tell them that they close their eyes, that they do not open their eyes until I tell them to open their eyes, because the healing is going to move around the room, and if anyone opens their eyes, they're going to shut it down. And I say to the people, and you don't want to be the one who shuts down the healing to everybody in this room, do you? So everybody behaves like good little children, and the healing moves around the circle. Usually if I play Vangelis, it goes for 25 minutes. So that gets me right round the circle. People are, I can watch the auras going, and I can see who's taking in healing and absorbing healing and whatever. And I will go to spot anybody who's stuck. I will go around and I put the healing into them, but I don't go around and heal everybody in the room. I channel the healing into the first person, and then if I find it's not moving too quickly on one side, I go down, put the healing into another person just to get it to move. What comes out of a healing circle, and they're powerful, as I said, I have over 100 people in them, people sit there in their seats after they've opened their eyes. I tell them not to move because the energy's still in their body, and if they get up, they'll fall over. And so they sit there, and then I said, you can talk, but you can't move. So they talk, and they'd say, I can twist my neck. Look, turning my neck. And the fellow stretch out, look at that, I've straightened my knee. I could never straighten my knee. And then all of a sudden you hear all these things happening, and the newspapers are there, and they say, can we take pictures now? Yes, take pictures. So they take all the photographs before it starts and after it starts. Then they follow up all the individual cases. And then I get a copy of the news article, and it shows all the people that had pain relief and yes.
And okay, so and because everybody's doing it, it amplifies the energy, and that's how it works. And it's the intention, the holding of the hands to keep the energy flowing around the circle, and keeping the eyes closed so they don't break the connection. It's
That's
like
right.
like what you were telling me in the beginning. If you start thinking about how you're doing a technique, the energy stops flowing.
That's why Vangelis is screaming at them, because they can't think with that, because the music is loud and it's clear. That's why we get bows, because it's clear, there's no static in it. And then it's thumping and thumping and thumping and thumping and thumping, and people can't think. They can't say, oh geez, did I turn the toaster off? I wonder if I parked the car in the right place. They can't do it. They
Yeah,
can't do it.
very clever.
Yeah.
And why did you come to Adelaide that time? And how long ago was that?
Oh, back in the 90s. See, at the end of the 90s, Paul got sick, so I stopped everything. So everything's got to be the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. It was in the 90s, one of the shows that you had, a big psychic festival. Yes.
Oh, I wish that I
I
didn't
can
know about
remember it
any
was
of your.
badly organised. That's what I remember of it.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
shame.
I conducted a healing circle in London, right? And in the circle, there were about 5 or 6 healers. And I said to them, right, when you feel it touch you, start channeling the healing. And we had people raving over the healing circle. We had 80 people in the healing circle, but we had these other healers in there as well, who had injuries they wanted healed, but they had the power to heal, to channel the healing. So it just made it extra special.
Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Well, that's good to know as well. So if you've got some healers in the circle, that's going to help it. How do you know you're a healer?
You know you're a healer because you are non-judgmental with your clients. You don't ask anything of your clients. You don't dominate your clients. You relax your clients, and you allow the energy to flow, and you don't try to make it happen.
Good.
Yes.
Good information for.
I've actually had a client
Yep.
that the healing wouldn't turn on. It wouldn't turn on. And he was laying on my table and it just wouldn't turn on. I thought there's something really wrong here. Something really, really, really wrong. So I opened my eyes, and once again I cheated. I looked at his aura and I thought, oh, he needs acupuncture. And that's something I learned that you haven't asked me.
Oh my goodness.
You haven't asked me an important question about healing modalities, have you? The question about healing modalities.
I'm being told off.
You're being told off because
yes, please.
You can have one person who will be healed by acupuncture. Then the next person will be healed by kinesiology.
Oh, and
then the next person will be healed by homeopathy. The next person by Chinese herbs. The next person by Reiki healing. The next person by spiritual healing. The next person by bells and ringing drums. And the next person because what I learned about the human aura after this fellow, I couldn't summon any healing into him. And I looked at his aura, and it was a lesson for me. It was many years ago, but it was a lesson for me. And I saw acupuncture. He went to have acupuncture, and as you know, you've got to have 10 treatments of acupuncture for it to go through its cycle.
I
So
see.
he went through the 10, and then all his hip pain had gone forever. So it told me that I couldn't have done it because he needed to go through acupuncture. And you want to know the end of that story?
Yes, please.
He thought it was so miraculous that he went to China, studied under the Chinese, and came back as a Chinese acupuncturist.
There you go. That does happen to a lot of people who experience something amazing. They just get so interested in it and do it, practice it themselves.
Yeah.
And nothing beats that, isn't it? When you've had firsthand experience of a healing modality and how it actually works.
So what I'm telling you that for is because people on their healing journey, they might go to a Reiki healer and think, oh, well, it was nice, but it really hasn't healed me, right? Or they might have homeopathy and say, it was good in the beginning, but the problem seems to be coming back. The questions and statements that you hear your mind juggling, right, is because you haven't located the modality to fix your issue. So it could be whatever. It could be pulsing. It could be Bowen therapy. It could be, think of all the therapies that are out there. There is not one therapy that fixes everything, not even spiritual healing or Reiki healing, because people resonate to different things with different ailments at different times in their astrological development, their astrological, numerological cycle, their moon cycles. Yes. So if they have a journey.
Yeah, they have a journey. So if a person saw an astrologer and worked all that out, then that would make them clearer on knowing what modality would help them.
No, because the astrologer can give them all their cycles, but can't fine tune their modalities.
No, okay.
No, they've got to go on that journey. So for people who've not found answers to their healing, ask yourself, make a list of all the modalities and then cross them off one by one. My modality is always energy. My number one, I was a premature baby and I was born crippled, and they took 4 years to straighten my legs. My modality all my life, anything goes with my legs. I run to a reflexologist. I have 4 treatments of reflexology and I'm good for the next 4 years.
Yep, that resonates with you. So
yes.
Is it a bit like you know, when we talked about finding the right healer, and you just go with that, your intuition, how you feel about them,
yes, how you feel about it,
find yourself drawn to, a bit
yes.
like that with the healing modalities as well. Yeah.
Some people have to have the physical thing. Some people have to have discomfort with their healing. Other people don't want discomfort with their healing. Some people want it to be, they need energy based. So I've got homeopathy, which is energy, right? And I've got reflexology, which is energy. Somebody else might have Chinese herbs, which are but that's they can feel it working.
Yes.
They say, oh yes, but it's in there now. I can feel it working.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up, because that's really important. Like whatever modality that you practice as practitioner, you're important. We're all important, and the right people will be drawn to us, and that's good. That's how it should be.
And not one modality will heal everything in everybody.
No, there's
that's something that all healers have to understand. You can't say you're a kinesiologist and it's going to heal it. Kinesiology, if somebody wants to know how best to be healed, they want to know something about themselves, how their injury or how their health issue is connected to their body, and to focus on the healing, go see a kinesiologist, because they will muscle test you and they'll find out where that pain is coming from. You might be feeling the symptom and not the cause. So all your treatment is the symptom, not the cause. A kinesiologist can find the cause.
That's great. You know, when I was reading your book and you mentioned kinesiology, I found it really interesting when you said because they use color, but you made a comment the color shouldn't be heated up because it can disperse the color, and
Yes.
that's not good.
Mm, mm, mm.
So yeah, I'm learning lots from your books, and in fact today, well, this came last week, and I've begun reading The Color of Life.
Of all the books I've ever written, that's my favorite book. You know why? Because
Tell
I
me.
love music, and I always have male editors with my books. I never have female, I have male. That's what comes from growing up in a family of boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I wrote that book and I got the editor phoned me and said that he was the new editor, I said to him, "Tell me a bit about yourself." He told me that he was a jazz musician. And I said to him, "My God, we could put a chapter in this book on the color of music. Every single note, all the chords that make music, and all the formula that makes hit songs. And that's what's in that book."
Right, he would have been in his element to be involved in your book.
Yep.
What a wonderful opportunity. How lucky is he?
And
And
if you
how
look at
lucky are
the
you?
forward of that book, who wrote the forward of that book?
Yes, Donovan Leach, is that how you say?
Yeah, Donovan was and has been. He evolved in the 1960s, singing all spiritual songs, meditating, guiding people to meditation and to energy healing, all of that. And he's done that from the 60s right through to now. He's got hundreds and hundreds of CDs right through to now. I said to him, I know him, and I said to him, "Would you like to do something in that?" And he said, "Of all the books," because he teaches color, the color of life, the color of shamanic healing, and the color of all these things. And so that's why he wrote the forward to the book.
That's why he wrote that. Well,
Yes.
this is, they're all quality books. They are amazing, all your books. And, today, it's funny because last interview we did, that's when I think this book arrived. And this morning,
Mm-hmm.
your companion gardening book arrived.
My God. Oh my
It's
God.
been well read. There's actually a bend in the cover and it's got water marks. It looks like it's been well used, and I'm very happy to have it. So I'll be beginning that one, but I have to finish reading The Color of Life. But now this is a great segue into the next interview.
Yes.
Because we have been speaking so much about you as, a renowned aura reader, the best in the world, a healer, and all these things that you do. But what we haven't spoken about, and we are going to, is about sustainable living. So that will be the next interview for people watching. You've written this book called Companion Gardening in Australia.
The second chapter in that book was written 36 years ago.
Yes.
The second chapter in that book talks about climate change 36 years ago.
In 1969, was it that you and Paul decided that you would
yes
live
yes.
that way because of the climate change?
Yeah.
So that is going to be another wonderful interview, because the reason being is that you have over 50 years now living this lifestyle, being self-sufficient, sustainable living. And not only that, you have taught people this all over the world, how to do it for themselves.
Yes. We've even taught them how to green their roofs in Singapore, on all the corporation roofs all over Singapore. They're growing vegetables. Yep.
You are such a wealth of knowledge. You are such a gem, and I absolutely am so grateful. And I can't believe that I found you, and and how your book came to me and everything. Just really great.
I can't believe how you found me and I found you. I think you're wonderful.
Same ditto. A friend I was speaking to today, she wants to tell you, her name's Angela Redman, and she wants to tell you that she loves you. She watched the interview, and she absolutely loves you. And so here we are talking about it in the interview. She'll probably watch this one too. I promised her that I would tell you that she absolutely loves you.
Hair?
Sorry?
Does she have fairish hair?
I would say on the lighter shade of brown. Yeah.
Lighter than yours.
Lighter than mine. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yes, yeah. She's a lovely, lovely soul.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again for your time. I really
pleasure.
enjoyed it, answering all these questions. You are helping me personally become a better practitioner, more confident.
Well, that's good.
Isn't it? And
Yes.
other people listening too. I'm sure this will, I'm sure my questions are a lot of people's questions. So lucky to have you to explain and to help us to be better. And
I think all the people out there that are yet to train as being healers, and the people who are working in the healing profession, I think they need to be supported by the general public, because it's the way of the new world. I was involved with the medical fraternity several years ago when antibiotics were becoming a real issue. People were becoming immune to them. And they were looking at two plants that they were researching. This was in America. They were researching the plants. They researched sage, right? And it had all the properties that they wanted to as an antibiotic. But then they researched my favorite weed of all times, and that is everybody knows it. You go out into the bush and you get all these prickly little things that stick to you.
oh yes.
Stick to your clothes. Stick to your clothes. Well, every part of that bush that you put beside the human body treats every part of the human body. Yes, yes, yes. Treats every part of the human body. So next time you go walking in the bush and it sticks to you,
yes,
think about this way and the pleasure of the universe. It actually became the new antibiotic that people are getting, right, in the community out there with the doctors. It became the new one. Anyway, so think about this in the universal plan. Its seeds stick to your clothes, and wherever you stop, wherever you choose to live as a migrant or a pioneer or a refugee, that seed drops off your clothes into the ground and it grows for you. And that means every part of that plant will treat every part of your body. So you have a walking pharmacy that travels with you. Think of that.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
The plant that I'm talking about is called Biden's Pelosa. That's
Biden's
the weed.
Pelosa.
Biden Pelosa.
This is the one with the round prickles?
No, the one with the little flat black ones that stick to your clothes.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think they call it farmer's friend or something, they call it.
Right.
Yes. But it's called Biden's Pelosa. And it was studied with sage, and Biden's Pelosa won over. Yeah. And Harvard University told me that you can stand the plant directly beside the person and it heals everything. And the roots of it heals all the lymphatics, the cells, the blood. It does all of that. So every part of this plant heals parts of the body.
How incredible.
The
How
walking
incredible.
pharmacy.
Gee, we take our weeds for granted and we just, weed them
I
out.
don't.
Throw them in the bin. Now, you wouldn't.
I don't.
You wouldn't. No.
I never take a dandelion out of the lawn because it's a maternity ward for earthworms.
Aha. Well, I can't wait to get into the next interview.
Well, we'll get into that on another interview.
We have to. We've got a lot to go through, and you've got a lot to teach me and everyone watching. So again, thank you so much for your time. Absolutely my delight. And yes, we'll see you soon. We'll work out when we're going to do another one, and we'll talk about the earth and earth keepers. Oh, and one more thing I should mention is that last time when we spoke, you are thinking of teaching people. And so I just thought maybe at this point in time, I could direct viewers to your website, and they could keep tuned perhaps for if and when you do this, you will announce it on your websites, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I'm talking to a couple of people because I'm not tech savvy. I'm talking to a couple of people and they've suggested that things get recorded on talking into a phone, and that gets loaded up so I can talk about all different subjects. I'm an interactive person. I would rather have people book into a Zoom meeting and have dozens of people where they can ask questions, and yes.
Be a bit more interactive.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, well, there you go, viewers. So keep tuned. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll have in the description box below, I'll have the websites that you can, keep tuning into and seeing what Judith announces, and if we know more as we go along, because I'm sure the next interview is not going to be the end if you're still happy to be interviewed by me.
Yes, I
And
just love being with you.
yeah, same, same. You're an incredible woman. I just feel absolutely blessed to have met you and to be doing this. What an honor, honestly. So, yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you
All
so
right, my
much.
pleasure.
All right.
Bye.
Have a lovely
Bye.
evening. Okay, bye.
Bye.